You ever have a nightmare where you wake up and somebody's built a whole neighborhood right on top of your childhood backyard? Not next to it, on it. That's how this all started. 96 houses, 47 acres of Texas prairie gone overnight. This was land my grandfather bought in 1943, back when you could still smell mesquite smoke hanging in the air every 4th of July. Land where I learned to mend barbed wire at age 12, hands bleeding, sweat soaking through my shirt, mosquitoes buzzing like they owned the place. I watched bulldozers chew through the south pasture, dirt flying diesel, stinking up the breeze, and I swear for a minute I felt like I'd been dropped in the middle of someone else's nightmare. Then the HOA president rolled up in her white Lexus, looking like she'd just stepped out of a Connecticut catalog, vanilla latte in hand, a little smirk playing on her lips. "Eminent domain, sweetheart. You'll thank us when property values go up." 5 years in Texas, and suddenly she thinks she's the queen of prairie progress. My family's got 80 years in this dirt. My dad's last words to me were, "Don't let anybody make you small, Grady." So I didn't fight the bulldozers, not at first. I let them finish every foundation, every granite countertop, every last detail. Then I walked into court with an 80-year-old deed, and I wish you could have seen their lawyer's face turn sheet white. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me back up a sec. My name's Grady Thornhill, 58 years old, third-generation Texan, retired diesel mechanic. Up until about 4 months ago, I thought the world made sense. Pay your taxes, respect your neighbors, and nobody messes with land that's got your name on the deed. Turns out I was as naive as a chicken in a coyote den. My grandfather left Appalachia in '43 with $800, bought this stretch of rattlesnake-infested sun-baked scrub. Folks thought he was nuts. He cleared it by hand, raised 5 kids, built a house with sweat, and a mule named Jasper. And every July we'd roast a pig over mesquite wood, the smoke trailing all the way down to the river. My dad took over, taught me everything he knew how to set a postman wire read the land. When he died cancer, the fast kind, he told me, "That land's got our sweat in the soil. Don't let anyone make you small." I was divorced, 2 kids grown and scattered, living quiet. Rented 20 acres to an organic co-op, kept a machine shop in the old barn. No HOA, just cicadas loud enough to shake the windows. Then I found orange survey stakes hammered right into my south pasture, called the County Plat, under review for a new subdivision supposedly adjacent to my place. Thought it was some out-of-state investor. Didn't sweat it. 2 weeks later, I hear engines drive down and there's a dozer chewing through my own land. Operator shows me a site plan, Cranston Development LLC boundary line running right through my pasture. So I march into their trailer, and that's where I meet Delia Cranston. Early 50s, salon blonde, bob, Lululemon, everything. She steps out of her Lexus SUV like she's posing for Instagram, barely glances at me, shows me a right-of-way agreement, claims the county used eminent domain to consolidate parcels, says my deed is under review, I'll be compensated fairly. She's chirping about property values, how I should be thanking her. All I said was, I never signed anything. She handed me her card, Clearfield Estates HOA, then drove off in a cloud of perfume and dust. That night I pulled my deed from the safe deposit box. Clear title, no easements, no liens, 79 years of unbroken ownership. But out my window, work lights were glowing on the horizon. They'd already graded 2 acres, poured 6 foundations. They weren't waiting for paperwork. They were betting I'd be too tired, too broke, or too scared to fight. Big mistake. Week 8, the legal letters started. Not polite letters. Legal letters. The kind with gold logos and triple-barreled law firm names that make your stomach knot up before you even open them. First one was a cease and desist. They threatened to sue me for tortious interference just for showing up at the site. Second was an invoice from Clearfield Estates, HOA, 18 grand for special assessments for roads and sewer lines they claimed now served my land. I'd never joined an HOA, never signed anything, but Delia Cranston treated bylaws like suggestions. Third letter was from county zoning my land under review for rezoning. Fourth, a title company asking me to cure defects in my deed, wouldn't even say what those defects were. I spent nights Googling legal terms till my eyes bled quiet. Title plat amendment, local government code eminent domain. I'm a mechanic, not a lawyer. First two attorneys I called wanted $15,000 retainers. I'd just buried my father, didn't have that kind of money. Third try, I found Jolene Pritchett, old Victorian office boots on the rail, silver braid, West Texas twang. She looked at the letters, laughed so hard I thought she'd break a rib. Weapons grade horseshit, she called it. $5,000 flat to file suit contingency after that. We shook hands. Jolene explained quiet title to me, a legal grenade. You file it when someone claims your land and the court has to decide who's right. She also recorded a lis pendens, fancy Latin for lawsuit pending on their plat. Banks hate that phrase. Means the property's radioactive till the fight's over. Within 72 hours, Cranston's construction loans froze. I felt hope for the first time in months. It lasted 5 days. That's when Delia went scorched earth on Facebook, 4,000 members in the Clearfield Junction group. She posted that I was blocking 96 families from their dream homes. Comments piled in, "Sue him, old rancher, holding us hostage." Eminent domain exists for a reason. Fake accounts accused me of illegal dumping. Reporters started calling co-op, wanted to pull their lease. But here's the thing, public attacks reveal who your real friends are. Jolene's paralegal quietly started a GoFundMe, raised $4,000 in 48 hours. Messages poured in, "My HOA, find me for planting roses, I'm with you. Don't give up." I called Jolene. "We're going scorched earth." She just grinned. Cranston tried to dismiss our suit, but their corrected deed was a forgery. I knew my father's signature like my own, proving it would cost $8,000, and the notary had died in 2003. Then, twist of fate, Remy Callahan, local reporter, calls me. Turns out Cranston had pulled the same scam in 3 other towns. Buy cheap land, rezone it with help from friendly commissioners, settle title disputes, quietly pay off the problem. Remy wanted the real story. I agreed to go public. At the same time, Jolene found an unlikely ally, Mabel Ortiz, 73 bifocals, and a mind like a bear trap, ran the Historical Society's deed archives. She dug up a 1962 reversal of a 1959 eminent domain claim. When the state canceled, the Highway 21 acres should have reverted to my family, but the paperwork was never filed in the new system. That vacant state land, still legally ours. Mabel found a brittle old plat map, traced the wedge with her finger. 32 homes already built were smack on land that belonged to me. Jolene told me, "Don't say a word, let them finish." The deeper the hole, the harder the fall. Meanwhile, the county inspector kept citing me for everything: storage shed, unpermitted co-op lease, violating residential zoning, even though the zone hadn't changed yet. Failure to maintain fence to HOA standards when I wasn't in an HOA. Inspector's name was Pullman, turned out Delia's brother-in-law. The zoning board hearing was a circus, 40 folks in matching HOA polos, Delia at the front, with a slideshow of smiling stock photo families. I walked up, hands-shaking, folder full of receipts, tax records, maps, and a printout of Cranston's $50,000 campaign donation to the commissioner who'd fast-tracked the development. Jolene played a recording of Delia telling a foreman, "Just build. The old man won't do anything." Room went dead quiet. Board tabled the hearing for 60 days. Delia stormed out. Brock vanished. Mabel called me a week later. She'd found another survey. Turns out my family didn't own 47 acres. We owned 68. When the state reversed the condemnation, the county never updated the record. The densest part of the subdivision, 32 houses, stood right on that missing land. Jolene brought in a retired IRS agent to untangle Cranston's shell companies, 2 prior bankruptcies, same scam, a legendary surveyor to confirm the boundaries, and a title investigator who found emails proving the title company knew about the missing land but issued policies anyway. That's fraud. We amended the lawsuit, added claims for every day of trespass, plus attorney fees. Remy dropped his expose and the story blew up San Antonio, Houston, Dallas TV. Hashtag Clearfield land grab trended. Local businesses took sides. The hardware store posted, "We stand with Grady Thornhill." Restaurants banned Delea. The co-op held a farmer's market on my land. 500 people showed up. Delea drove by, didn't stop. Even homeowners turned on the developer, filing a class action lawsuit. The pressure mounted. Then Brock Cranston himself showed up at my RV, parked where the barn used to be before someone torched it. He offered me a $3 million check, a luxury home consulting fees, said I'd never have to work again. "You think I'll sell it to the man who burned my barn?" I asked. He just stared. "You can't prove that yet," he muttered. I tore up the check, posted it online. 40,000 views in 2 days. County hit me with a stop work order for the farmer's market. Co-op panicked, but that's when Ernesto Vega, a civil engineer who'd built the subdivision's infrastructure, came forward. He handed me reports showing the sewer lines were built illegally, no county permits running straight through my land. Jolene filed with the county subdivision shut down. Cranston tried to fight it, but nobody cared anymore. The fire marshal called, said my barn fire was arson after all. He'd been pressured to close it by a deputy friendly with Brock. That deputy lost his re-election. A real prosecutor took over, reopened the case. Delea tried one last desperate move, sent out anonymous mailers with my mugshot from a decades-old DUI. It backfired. People sided with me, not her. At the deposition, Jolene nailed Delea to the wall. She pled the fifth. The transcript leaked, her reputation collapsed. HOA board members quit. Trial was set. Judge Calloway, ex-rancher, no patience for slick city lawyers. In court, we laid it all out. Original deeds, surveys, photos, campaign donations, recorded calls, engineering reports, the whole saga. Judge Calloway didn't hesitate, ruled in my favor, ordered Cranston and the HOA to remove any structures on my land or pay me the full value $9.2 million plus damages for the barn fire and legal fees. Brock filed bankruptcy. The subdivision froze. A trustee offered to sell me the houses at cost. I couldn't afford that, so I got creative. Formed a land trust with the co-op and local businesses. They bought most of the homes as affordable housing I kept. 7 turned them into a farm retreat. The rest went to folks who respected the land. Delea got caught embezzling, took a plea deal, resigned from every board. Brock fled to Arizona. The commissioner who took his money was voted out. Thornhill's law passed now. Before any rezoning, the state has to verify title independently. I rebuilt the barn. Solar panels, concrete floor, BBQ out back. Through a barn, raising 100 folks came. Started a scholarship for kids going into ag land management or rural law. First recipient was Ernesto's daughter. I deeded 20 acres to the Historical Society for Restoration. Walked the fence line at sunset, fireflies, flickering kids, laughing, the smell of mesquite smoke drifting up again. My father's words rang in my ears, "Don't let anybody make you small." I didn't. 6 months later, Remy wrote a follow-up, how one old mechanic's stubbornness sparked a movement. Turns out others used my case to fight back. Thornhill's law is spreading to other states. My grandson asked me, "Is this ours forever?" I told him, "It's ours to take care of. That's better than forever." 3 weeks ago, I got a letter from a woman in Louisiana pipeline company trying to take her land. Asked if I could help. I called Jolene. "You busy?" She just laughed. "If you've got an HOA nightmare, a neighbor on a power trip, a developer trying to steal what's yours, don't give up. Document everything. Find your people. Fight smart, not just hard. And if this story hit home, subscribe, share it with someone who needs to hear it. Drop your state in the comments. Let me know where you're watching from. Because stories like this, they matter and they spread. Now tell me, what would you have done in my boots? Is there ever a right time to walk away from a fight for your own land? Or do you stand tall no matter how small they try to make you feel?